Today's episode is going to be for those who are making digital planners specifically. I will be going over options for your planner layout and how to add and edit hyperlinks. This is without a doubt the most difficult part of creating a digital planner. I will also be showing you a few ways to help you organize your document and to make the process a little bit easier, not to mention a few other tips and tricks that I think are going to be very useful for you. In this video, we will not be creating a finished document because the next episode will be all about adding pages to create your finished document and then exporting. I did want to go ahead and create this video first so that when you do watch the document finalization video, you have the knowledge you need to create your finished document. You may want to jump back to this video again after episode 18, but I highly recommend not skipping this video now because there are certain things that you're going to want to think about and consider when you're deciding what order you want your document to be in and things like that when we get to the next episode. So I'm going to do my best to make this as simple as I can because it can get a little complicated pretty quickly. So the first thing you should do before adding any hyperlinks to your planner is to add all your pages to your document. So far in this series, we've just been creating parent pages, right? We haven't added anything to our actual document itself yet. As I said, we will be going over this in the very next episode, but for now you want to think about how you want the flow of your planner to be. I'll be showing you an example from one of my digital planners that I created to help demonstrate exactly what I mean. I please just ask that you do not copy my planner. I spent a long time planning this thing out, and it would really hurt my feelings if anyone just stole the planner. But use it as guidance. It's just the easiest way for me to explain what I mean about the flow and the hyperlinks and everything is to show you an example. So as I said, adding the hyperlinks is the most complicated part of creating a digital planner. But in my opinion, it is the most important part. It is the reason that people purchase and use digital planners. Most digital planners will have a lot of hyperlinks in them like mine does. And this is for ease of use for your customer. However, the more hyperlinks you have, the more complicated and confusing it could get when you're adding them and you're creating your document. You should keep this in mind when you're deciding on your desired layout and functionality. You can absolutely choose to have fewer hyperlinks if that's what you would prefer. It is your creation, but you just want to think about it as I go through here and show you, because when I tell you I have thousands of hyperlinks in my planner, and almost all of them need to be individually added. So as far as the layout, in my planner, I have all the regular monthly pages together in order of how they would be in a regular planner. I do this for two reasons. The first is that it gives the customer the option to swipe through their monthly sections if that's what they wish to do. Also, if you're wanting to add less hyperlinks, doing these in sections grouped by month can make it a bit easier because you could choose to only add the hyperlink to the first page of that month. So let me show you my PDF here. So to show you an example in my planner of different sections that I have, as I already explained, the monthly sections are together. So we're going to have the monthly view followed by the monthly dashboard, followed by week 1, and then it'll be followed by the 7 daily pages, and then followed by week 2, so on and so forth. And then I have a few sections at the end of this planner or each month that are for habits, budget, notes, to-dos, and custom sections. These sections here are for them to add whatever notes pages they prefer to use. Same with the to-dos. I have different to-do lists. These are all clickable. They'll all take you to different to-do lists. Let's go to custom because that's the last one. And then that would be the last section. And then we would head over into February. So I want to show you that if you want to have a simpler planner with not as many hyperlinks, how you could take a planner that is this complicated and make it a little simpler. And let's start off here at my year at a glance. You can't see from here because it's not showing you the hyperlinks, but every one of these days here and weeks and even the months are all hyperlinked. You absolutely do not have to do that. Again, this isn't undated, so that's why it's empty everywhere and why I have more weeks in each month, because I have to accommodate any combination. But you don't have to have hyperlinks here. You can just have the boxes. They put the days in if they want the calendar, or they don't have to. But if you have a dated planner, you don't have to add hyperlinks to all of this. That's totally up to you. So that's one place that you can skip it. I have sections up here for finances. I have a separate link for every single monthly budget. You don't have to do that. This is behind the month, so they can get to it from the month if they want to. Goals pages. I have hyperlinks here that bring you to an actual goals page. You don't have to. You don't have to have this dashboard section. You can just have one of each of these goal pages, like one of them as a template, just like I showed you in the extra templates, and then let them add it in if they want to. Same thing with projects, so on and so forth. Again, here in my month, I have links to the dashboard, to the habits, to the budget, so on and so forth. All of these little days are clickable and the weeks are clickable. You don't have to do that. Just leave this blank, have your numbers in here, and then they just scroll down to the next, which I have a dashboard, or you can go right into your weeks, however you want to do. Again, my dashboard's here. I have links to the other month's dashboards. I personally like this because I will put on my to-dos, and what I don't get done for 1 month, which happens a lot, I will want to transfer it over to the next month, so it's convenient for me to do that. And then I have all the links here. You don't have to have any of those. You can literally just have a link to the tab, have everything in here the way you would a regular planner, or you could be somewhere, some combination in between, right? Like maybe you just have the week, and then maybe you have links to the days of the week so that they don't have to scroll through completely, but you're not adding a ton of links. And then you would do it for February. So that's some ways that you could limit some of these links if that is an issue for you. Just keeping this in mind. What your preference as far as number of links and how complex you want it to be as you're, deciding on the layout, and we're deciding the order of pages that you want to put into it. Again, this is why I wanted to mention this before we go to the next episode and we start actually creating our documents, because you're going to want to know this stuff first. Now, if you want to have the max amount of ease for use for your customers and the smoothest flow throughout your planners, lots and lots of hyperlinks are the way to go. It is a pain to create, but it really takes a digital planner to the next level. So if you want to be out there and you want to be competitive and you want people to really like your planner, I really think a lot of hyperlinks to go. But with that being said, remember there's some older people that you want to use these that maybe aren't so good with the stuff, but how many are those? They're probably just doing it by paper still. I still prefer to do it by paper. Not that I'm saying I'm old or anything, but so now you've seen like a basic walkthrough of mine. You could see examples of how I have everything flow. Did it take me a long time to map all this out? Honestly, it really took me a while, but I only have to do it for my first planner, because then any changes I make to color or style or text or anything like that, all of this is already kind of built out for me. I just had to do it one time because I wanted to help you out with these different sections. Not that, again, I don't really want you to copy my whole thing, but I still want to show you different things here. And I'm going to just go through these top tabs. Well, I have these sections here. Okay, these are it's basically like a notebook. They can use these for taking notes and putting different subjects in if they're a student. You can make these whole other sections, like one of them is fitness and one of them is reading and stuff like that. They can do whatever they want with them. So these are just sections where basically I created a tab and I just created this page where they can write what it is, and that's it. And now we go into the next tab. That's all you're doing. And I changed the colors so that they know where they're at. And that is absolutely it. And then we have my index tab, which I've already showed you a few times. These are all clickable to help them get to pretty much anywhere in the planner. I have my extras page, which is the right side of that other page, but this is just for the individual templates that are probably for specific people only. Training log, calorie deficit. So we have the fitness stuff. If someone's into fitness, that works for them. Then we have the nutrition, travel, wellness, and then just some other random ones like cleaning schedules and stuff like that. Reading tracker, movie tracker. You can also, think about this, you can also sell separate template packs in your store. You don't have to include all of this in your planner, right? You can have separate packs that are add-on packs that people can add. Maybe you color code them to go with your planner and make them linkable, or maybe you just put them on a clear background that they can add in their planner and use wherever they want. But you can have a fitness add-on pack that they have to pay for separately. All of these could be separate add-on packs. Totally up to you what you want to do, but that is a possibility to add later. All right, so that was the extras. So that's all those. And then I have my templates. That's, their templates, obviously. And this is what I mean by templates. So if they're purchasing templates elsewhere that they want to insert, they need to keep a copy of it somewhere. And this is where they can do it. They can write right here what it is. And then they click on it and it will take them over to a blank page where they can add. It'll either be on white or it'll have a transparent background and they can add it here and make it look like it's a page. Then going forward, all they need to do is copy and paste the section to whatever area in there they want to do. So there's plenty of templates. These are all clickable to a different page. This is why there's 997 pages in this book. Okay, so then we have notebook. I have a 6 subject notebook here. Essentially, all of these are clickable. These will take you to the notes pages that you want to copy and paste in your notebook, depending on your preference. And then you can write down, like, this is the subject and these are the subcategories, however they want to do it. But these are all clickable. So you can click to each one and now you put whatever you want to put behind that tab. Okay, so it's just a different way. So basically, the notebook, the templates, the sides over here are just ways for your customers to customize. And then I have a stickers section. Again, these are just, it's a page. You can put the stickers on here to use. If you need another page, you just insert a blank page behind it. Then when they go to here, they would have to scroll to the next page, but that would get them to the beginning. These are actual external links I have to my shop to sell the other stickers. So if they're like, hey, I want some stickers, they click here and it will take them, I'm not going to go, but it will take them over to my Etsy shop and to this listing. And then the coil always takes you back to the beginning. I have the yearly. These are all clickable. Yearly at a glance, overview, vision, yada, yada. I have the finances. These are the finances that are tracked throughout the year. These are the individual monthly ones. Goals. I've already showed you some of these. Projects. Again, these are all clickable. I have big projects and then I have small projects. Contacts pages and password pages. And there is a page of these for every letter. Again, if they needed to add another page, they can just copy and paste this page behind it and they will have another page. And that page will not be linked. You would still have to go to A and then slide over, but they can do that. And these are all clickable to take to a different page. The same thing with contacts. All right, and then I already showed you the months, and that's basically it. So those are the ways that I have my planner designed and the possibilities for clicking different things. Now, hopefully, with all of that being said, because I feel like I'm rambling at this point and maybe confusing you with the amount of information, this is all just to show you possibilities and ideas of how you can have your planner flow. I think by now that you get how complicated this can get and how quickly, right? Just me trying to show you the pages, I'm sure your head is spinning. So take the time, decide at the beginning how you want your flow to be, how many sections you want, and the amount of hyperlinks that you're okay with adding. Decide what elements like buttons, arrows, text boxes, etc. that you may want to use. Then you'll be able to start creating the actual document. Now let's get into hyperlinks. All right, we know that's the most complicated part, so let's get into it. The best thing that we can do for making hyperlinks less complicated is to get organized. My recommendation and the process that I use is to use bookmarks in your document and to create a spreadsheet for tracking your page numbers. And this will be for the pages that you're going to have multiple links to. If you're going to have 1 or 2 links to a page, you probably don't need to worry about that. But for my example here, you can see February. Every one of these is a link, but this link is not the only one that goes to that day. I have it in the yearly overview. I have it on the weeks. I have it the arrows that go to and from the day. So a link to that page, that daily page, you're going to find in multiple areas. Those are the types of links that I want to put in a spreadsheet. All right, that's going to cut out a lot of the work. It's a little work to create this spreadsheet at the beginning, but it's not that bad. But if you screw up these hyperlinks, it's hard to find a mistake because there's so many. And you would have to sit there and click back and forth through everything. It's hard. So your best bet, get organized, take your time, and do it right from the beginning. And if later on you need to move things around, the hyperlinks will automatically adjust. If you delete a page, it will adjust all of the pages, that the hyperlinks go to. The only thing you might run into an issue there is if there's hyperlinks going to the actual page you deleted. Then you have a broken hyperlink, but I will show you how to check for those later. Okay, so before jumping into hyperlinks, let's first talk quickly about bookmarks. Really, really simple to add, really, really simple to use, but can help you out, especially when you end up with 997 pages like I have. I mean, you might not end up with this many pages, but you can imagine navigating through all of these pages can be tough and time consuming. So your best bet, and again, this is something you want to really do while you're creating your document. You could do it afterwards, but it makes it a lot easier if you do it while you're going. So like I'm going to show you my bookmarks here that I have in here. I have this one for January budget, but I don't have all the months in here. I just have a couple just to show you, for example, because this is my just example planner here. So let's say it's a good idea to have a bookmark to each month. So let's look at this. This is January. It's page 10. If I click on February calendar, it comes all the way to page 68. From 10 to 68, that's 58 pages between. You would have to find the page number, find where you need to go when you're navigating through and adding bookmarks and so on and so forth, or you need to make changes. You would have to scroll through 58 pages to get to the next one. So, creating these bookmarks are going to make things a lot easier. Same with your other sections. So I have a finance section that's all the way at page 706. That's a lot of scrolling I would have to do to find this page if I needed to. So this is why I say the easiest thing to do is to create it as you are creating your planner. And this will make more sense in the next episode when we start adding the pages, because this is the actual document here. These are just the parent pages. So if you're going in, you're starting to add your sections. So we're starting to add January. Let me come here. Okay, so I add this page. Go ahead, as soon as you're adding that page, go ahead and add a bookmark. This is how we're going to add a bookmark. Now, if you don't see this here, come up to Window and come down to Interactive, and then click on Bookmarks. And that will bring up a window. It'll probably pop up in the middle. It's fine to leave it there or just drag it over. Okay, so now if I come down to here and let's say I want to add a bookmark here to this page, all I'm going to do is make sure I'm selected on that page over here. I'm going to come down to my bookmarks to my bookmark section. I'm just going to hit the plus to add a bookmark, and then I'm going to name it what I want to name it. So we're going to say January dashboard. If you want to move it, just click, hold, and drag. You'll see that little line, and then let go, and you can move it around. But if you're doing it as you create it, it should be in order, but just in case, you can do it later. So obviously, at the very least, I would do the months so it's easier to get through, and then I would also do your other main sections. Any of these things you have a tab for would probably be pretty beneficial to have a bookmark for. So if you see here, I have finances, goals, projects, yada yada. To delete them is just as easy. Just click it, come and hit delete. If you want to navigate to that page, just double click and you will navigate to that page. And that's it. That's Bookmarks. Super, super simple, but very effective in helping you stay organized with a planner this large, and will help you when you need to add hyperlinks. So I have one more step that I like to do before adding hyperlinks. That is that I like to add all of the frames first, mainly because there's a lot of sections where you can just do copying and pasting. If you add one, add a hyperlink, then you copy and paste it over. That pasted one, the new one, is going to have that hyperlink. Sure, you can go in and edit it, but it's going to be harder to keep track because you have this little dotted line around the outside when there's a hyperlink added. If I add, let me just show as an example, if I add some frames here, right, I'm adding a frame, adding another frame, adding another frame. So let's say I go here and I'm going to right click and I'm going to come down to hyperlinks and new hyperlink. And if I go to add that new hyperlink, whatever it may be, you can see there, I know I added a hyperlink to here. This one, I know I didn't. So if I'm adding hyperlinks later or I missed something, I can clearly see I missed it. Whereas if I copy and paste this over and the hyperlink is there, if I didn't update it, I have no way to know that I didn't update it. So it just makes it more complicated. And the goal right now is to make things as less complicated as possible, because I want to also show you, this thing is lagging again, it just has too many pages. I probably should have done a shorter one for my examples here. Okay, so let's go back to January, and I'm going to delete all these hyperlinks because I'm going to show you how we can go ahead and how quickly you can add these boxes. So I'm going to come over here to the frame tool. You could make these circles if you want to. I just don't think it really matters. So I find the box a little bit easier. So I'm just going to add a box the same as that dot there. So now all I need to do is click, hold, and drag, holding Option and Shift or Alt and Shift to drag it over so it stays level. And I've made a copy. Now I could step and repeat twice, or step and repeat, edit, step and repeat, and do that 2 times, and it should be in the section that I need it to be. Now I can just highlight all of these, again holding Option and Shift or Alt and Shift, and just drag it down. And now yet again I can do step and repeat 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So edit, step and repeat 4, and look at that. I have now added all of the frames for that entire page in the matter of a couple seconds. Now, same thing over here, assuming my boxes are the same size. All I have to do is drag out these 3 rows, click, hold Option Shift, drag over, and now I've made copies there. Look how easy, how quick and easy that is. So that is why I like to go through and add all of the frames. I mean, this is something you technically could actually really do if you wanted to as you're adding your pages instead of going back, right? You could do that. But before I start adding hyperlinks, I'm just going to go ahead and add all of the frames. Now, let's check out the weekly page, shall we? Because here's one other tip I want to show you. I've created all of these. Let's just leave it. I know that that has hyperlinks, but we're going to ignore that for right now. I created all of these boxes. I am going to now want to copy these to the next week. So what I can do is highlight all of them, Command C or Control C to copy. Let's scroll down to our next week. Let's get rid of these. Oops. Let's get rid of these so you can see it work. Okay. So now what we can do, I've created the first week. That's all I need to create for the weeks. 1, and that's it. I can simply go to the page, come up to Paste in Place, And now it's going to paste them exactly where it is. And now I can just go down to every week and paste in place. If you wanted to, rather than scrolling down, you can use this little book thing, because you know that this week there's 7 days in between. So you're just going to add 8 days and it will skip right to that, right? So you can do that too if you don't want to scroll through, to make it even quicker. So let's see how quickly we could do this. We have 36. So we're going to say 44 and tab. Now we're at the next week. Click on the page. Well, I mean, you might not have to. And then paste in place. And you can see it added it, right? So now we're going to add 8 more pages again. So now we're going to be at 52 and tab, and now paste in place. So obviously when you get to, this is week 6, so it's not going to be 8 pages to the next one because we have other stuff in between, but you can just now click on your February calendar, scroll down to the first week, scroll down 1 to the first week, and now we can paste in place. We can go to page 78, tab, paste in place. If you know the shortcut, you could use a shortcut too, which would make it even quicker. So that's how you can quickly add some frames. Obviously, you can do the same thing for these pages. And I think I mentioned before, but just to make sure I mention again, these frames are, of course, invisible. Okay, you won't see them when you export. Okay, so now that all of these frames have been made, we're ready to move to our next step, which is going to be to create our spreadsheet that will guide us through adding all of these hyperlinks. Now, if you're going with a simpler digital planner and you're not using as many hyperlinks, you may not need to do this step. But for myself, this page has 5 other links in other areas that come to this page. So it's going to be quite time consuming to add these. So, okay, so we're going to come over here to our spreadsheet. I have split the screen manually by using my double arrows, because in a MacBook, InDesign does not do a split screen. If you're in a Windows, I think that you'll be able to just drag it over to each side, but I am not certain. Either way, you could just adjust by your little double arrows here. We just want to see both screens is going to make it a lot easier. So let's go over here, and in the first column we're going to say week, and then in the second column we're going to say day. Now first I'm going to show you the example for this undated planner, and then after that I will show you how it's just a little bit different for a dated planner, but it's simpler to show you the undated first. Okay, so here what we're going to say is January. Let's say 1 January, because it's the first week in January. Now we want to put the days. Again, this is undated, so it's not the actual date itself, but we know there's 7 days in the week, right? So we have the weekly view. Now come down 1 row, because you don't want it to be on the same row as the week. And we're just going to say 1 and 2, and we can just, once we have 2 numbers, we can just drag it down till we have 7. So now what we want to do in this column is we're going to put the page numbers. And this is working for mine because this is the order I have mine in, okay? So you just use this as a concept if yours is not ordered the same as mine. So let's go over to January here. Let's go over to week 1, and we can see this is page 12, right? Where you can see here, page 12. So we're going to put page 12 here. Page 12 here. Now I know in my setup that the weekdays, the days start right afterwards. That means the day is 13. So now all I need to do is click, hold, and drag this down, and it's going to fill in the numbers automatically. And we already have our page numbers for the first week, right? So now I can copy this. So Command or Control C, it's the same in here, and then V. And then, I mean, I guess if you want, you can put a little gap in between if that makes it easier. All right, so January 2, because that's the second week in January. The days are the same, but let's go ahead and delete these guys here. Well, we didn't need to copy those. But we can just find our second week in January, which should be right behind this guy. So it should just continue on from here. So what we can do is we can keep doing individual weeks, or I know it's January 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what I'm going to do here, because I know I have 6 weeks, so I'm just going to copy all of these. So Command C, Control C, we're going to copy it once, and then we're going to come down here and copy it again. So now I have all 6 weeks. The only thing I have to do is just change these weeks so that I don't get confused. So this is the 3rd week. This is the 4th week. This is the 5th week. And this is the 6th week. Okay, and then we have our repeating weekdays. Now, because I have no gaps here or anything, and because it goes in order without anything in between, all I need to do, just highlight a couple of these so that the program can figure out the pattern, and you're just going to click, hold, and drag it all the way down, right? So the Sunday of January week 6 should be on page 59. Let's go ahead and check week 6 of January we just want to double check ourselves as we go so we don't screw the whole thing up. Let's go to 52 and see where we're at. And this is 52, which is week 6 of January, so that looks good. That means this 59 should be Sunday after that. Perfect. Okay, so now we're good. January is done. We know all our pages for our days of the week. So now all we need to do is copy all 6 of these weeks. You could put a space in between the months, or you don't have to. Sometimes I like to do that. Let's go ahead and say February. And you don't even have to type February on every single one if you want. You can just leave February for the first one and then have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what goes together. Whatever is going to make it easier for you and clearer for you. But so now we have February. We have all those days. Now what we need to do, because we know that there's just stuff in between here, is we need to go to the first week in February. Now, because I have my bookmarks, it's going to be pretty easy to get over to the February calendar, scroll down 2 pages, and now we know the first day or the first week in February is page 70. So we type page 70, to enter 71, and now that we have 2 numbers, we can highlight those 2, click, drag it all the way to the end. And let's double check February 6th, or the 6th week in February should be page 110. And there we are, 6th week in February. Okay. And that's it. You would just keep going on in that way until you get through all 12 months. So it seems like it might take a few minutes, a little while, because I'm explaining it all. But if you can see, the program is doing most of the heavy work. So once you're done with all of this, you can just export it. I would do it with the lines. And now you have right in front of you this guide for all these days. Okay, so now that I can come up to my year at a glance page. And you can see how very many of these I have. I can then go ahead and I can start adding these. So I know week 1 of January is page 12. And then I would go 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, so on and so forth. And then I can very quickly go through each of these pages. January, I might need to look up because I didn't put that on here. But I also know that it's 2 days before. I know it's 2 days before the first week because the dashboard's in between. But again, this is going to depend on how you have yours set up. But see, I now have the sheet and I can go through and add the numbers. Week 2, I'm going to add 20, 21, 22, 23, so on and so forth, right? So there's my my yearly calendar. Now I'm going to come down to my January, and now I can do the same thing here. I can add I know the first week in January is 12, and then I can go across and add them here also. So you can see how much quicker it's going to make all that, because if you had to keep checking back and forth, back and forth, back and forth for each of these, it would take forever. It would take forever. Same thing, I'm coming down to week 1. I have all the days here. I know they're right here. And I'm just going to go through and add them all. All right, this is my week. I know this is a week of January 1. I'm going to add that there. I have these back arrows. If you remember, you don't need these, but I have these back arrows. This is going to come in handy because I know that we are on Tuesday, so it's just going to go back one day. I know. I mean, you could have also set, you could actually also call these Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, if that makes it easier. You can absolutely do that too. But anyway, you get the general idea. I think this makes it a lot easier. I like to print it out and have it right in front of me because it's no fun working on a split screen like this. You can only see so much. Now, what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how it's a little bit more complicated for dated, but still, this is still going to be easier than jumping back and forth in the planner. So same basic process, but more specific. So you have to look at your calendar for reference. Okay, I would bring up a monthly calendar, whether it's in your planner, well, if you're looking at your yearly view on your planner on here with the actual dates in it. So I brought this calendar up for you here, my other planner, my dated planner, so we can look at the actual calendar here and I can show you what I mean and the few adjustments that you're going to need to make if you're doing this for a dated planner. To make things simpler and clearer, what I would suggest is adding a column here. I would add a column to the left in between, one column to the left, and let's go ahead, and that's the week, and let's go ahead and say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. See, it's smart enough. You just type in Monday, click, hold, and drag on the bottom. It's going to fill in all the days. Now I can copy this, and I can just paste this down for the rest of these. And we have a week 6 here, so we'll go ahead and put a week 6 here. All right, so that just makes it a little bit easier for you to see because we know our week 1 is actually starting on Sunday, which is the 1st. So now we can just more clearly see, right? So then week 2, it's 2 through 8. So 2, and then drag it down, and that's why you have to do 2 numbers. All right, so 2, and then 3, and then highlight both and drag down. There we go. Okay, so then we can just carry on here. Oops. We can just carry on and do this all the way down, adding in the dates next to the month. It's definitely doing the dated ones a little more time consuming because you're doing specific dates, but it's overall still not terrible. It's still going to be a lot quicker in the end than going through each one. I'm going to go ahead and finish January so you can see what happens here last week in January. So we have 30. And then we have 31. All right, so now when we get down here and we know the 31st is on a Tuesday and that is the last day of the week, Wednesday is going to now be the 1st, right? So what you can do here if you want, because this page is going to be the same week view as the last in January, is going to be the same week as the 1st in February. So you can, if you want, just say Feb 1 because that's going to be the same date, or you can just make sure I'm in the same page, or you can just make sure you repeat the same page down here. You can do that. Either way, just keep that in mind whenever the months change over, unless it is exactly ends at the end of the week. You are going to have 1 week in the week is going to be partially in one month and partially in the other month, which are going to have the same page numbers. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Now we are ready to add our page numbers in. So for January, week 1 in January, I actually have these broken down in here. So week 1 in January we know is page 12. So we're going to put page 12. I actually do have December in here, but I don't have links to it from the calendar. So we're not going to have links to those days. Not from the year at a glance calendar. Not from here either. So January 1st, we come down here is page 19. That is January 1st. So we're going to put page 19. Now, we are going to come over to down. We're on week 2. Is going to be 20 and now 20 and then 21. And we can just continue on like we did with the undated one. So, and you're going to continue that the same. So the big difference is I would add the dates column here. You can do that in the undated too if that makes things easier. You can absolutely add that there as well. The big thing that I wanted to mention, obviously January 1st, but is the overlaps here. So you just need to be more careful. Also, it's not always going to be the same, right? So when we come up to the yearly view, you can see that some weeks, some months have less weeks. So while January did end up with 6 weeks, I'd say the majority of the months are only going to have 5. See, look, the rest of these months in the first half of the year only have 5 weeks. So you're going to have less hyperlinks and less in here than your dated, and everything else is going to be the same until you get to these overlapping weeks where they continue. If you see here, April ends exactly on Sunday. So in other words, you're not going to have an overlap week here. So out of the first 6 months of the year, we have 1, 2, 3 overlaps, and then you have 1 overlapping into the second half of the year. So yeah, that's the way I do it, that I personally, through trial and error, really think helps a lot, to have all of this out, laid out and printed out in front of you so you can add all of your hyperlinks if this is what you are trying to do. I sincerely hope I have not confused the heck out of all of you. All right, so now we're ready, finally, after all of that, we are finally ready to actually start adding hyperlinks, but there is just one more thing I want to show you. And if you saw the tips and tricks video, then you will know about this already, like you will have heard me mention this already. And that is adding your shortcuts to add your hyperlinks. So right now I click on the box with the hyperlink. I click on it, right? I can right click, I can come down to hyperlinks, and I can say edit hyperlink or go to destination. Of course, you will not see this unless you followed my tips and tricks video. There will be nothing here. So you can click edit hyperlink, you can go through that way, and then you can edit the hyperlink. If you're adding a hyperlink, let's add a new box, right? Select that box, right click, come down to hyperlinks, new hyperlink. And now that's the way you can add a new hyperlink if you want to do that. Now that's going to take a while when you're in bigger pages. You're just going to have to keep going. It will add a lot to the time. Your best bet is to create shortcuts for this. InDesign does not come with shortcuts for this automatically. So, okay, so to do this, you're going to come up to edit, and then you're going to come down to keyboard shortcuts. Now I see tips tutorial already have this saved, but if we go to default, you are going to see, now let me tell you that you find it in the panels menu, which could take a little while to find, but hyperlinks is in the panels menu. And we're going to scroll down to hyperlinks. We're close. Okay, hyperlinks. Hyperlink, edit hyperlink, we'll look at that one first. When I click here, you can see current shortcuts, none. This is probably what you're under as default, unless you've added shortcuts before. So it says none for edit hyperlink, and then when we come down to new hyperlink, it also says none. For my personal preference, I use Option Y for new hyperlink and Command Y for editing a hyperlink. The Y because hyperlink has a Y in it. I don't know why, but Option for new, Command for Y. That's what I've chosen. You can go with that, or you can pick something else. So let me show you how you can add it here. So hyperlink new, right? Like I said, it's going to be Option Y. So all you're going to do is click in this box, and then you're going to hit Option Y. So you hit it on the keyboard, what you want it to have, okay? Now, this says this shortcut is unassigned, which is perfect because they don't have that shortcut assigned to anything yet. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to say assign. You're going to get this box if you're doing this under default. That tells you can't modify default. You have to create a new set. You can just say yes, name the set what you want to name it, and then it will add it in there, okay? It will create a new set for it, and you will then find it in this drop-down box, which I have planner shortcuts, and then I have the tips tutorial because I showed how to do it in there. So now let's go up to edit hyperlink. So hyperlinks, edit hyperlink. I want to do Command Y. Oops. Command Y for this one. Now, you're going to see here, it's warning me that something else has this shortcut. And if I tell it to assign this, it's going to remove the shortcut. This one happens to be Edit in Story Editor, something I never use. So I am okay to assign this to something else. If you are not, if you don't want to get rid of a shortcut for Story Editor because you use it for some reason, I'm assuming if you use it, you're not watching this video, but if you want to pick something else, you can absolutely. But I just find it easier to keep them similar. So if I remember one, I'll remember the other. And then you click assign. And again, you would just click yes. You would name it, say okay, and then save it, okay? And then you can just hit okay. No, I'm canceling it because I don't want to save that. All right, so now we have our shortcuts. We have our frames, right? We have our list of pages for the more difficult stuff. Now you're ready to go in and you're ready to add hyperlinks to anything that you want to add hyperlinks to. And again, we can do this if I'm editing a hyperlink. Like let's say this is already done. I need to edit it later. What was my, my shortcut I created was Command Y. Actually, I never changed it back to my other one, did I? Let's go back and change this to my planner shortcuts. But so basically anything I want to edit, I'm just going to click on it, Option Y. It's going to bring it up. I can adjust it. Option Y, there we go. So you see over time, especially if I'm going to each one, looking off my list, if I wanted to say Option Y, I'm going to change this to 2. And then I'm going to click here, Option Y, I'm going to change this to 3. Option Y, 4. Because remember, I have my list in front of me. Option Y, 5. And so you see this can take a lot less time. Now, if I didn't have my spreadsheet, I didn't have my shortcuts, here's what I'm doing. I'm right-clicking, I'm coming down to hyperlink, I'm coming to edit hyperlink. Then I have to figure out what freaking page this is on. So I would have to go back and forth. The shortcut, the spreadsheet aren't going to make things lightning fast, but they're definitely going to help you keep organized, and they're definitely going to make things quicker than they would be without them. Now, I know we just added the pages with the most amount of links and everything to the spreadsheet, but you can go ahead and add whatever pages you want to the spreadsheet. I mean, if you really wanted to, you can create a spreadsheet with all 997 pages on it, list out what each page is in the spreadsheet, and then you have it right there in front of you, and at no point will you have to jump back and forth. You can come up to this page, to your index page, your first page here, and you already have the list in front of you that says your at a glance is this page, this is this page, and then you can just go through and add them all, go to the next page, add them all, and go through the whole thing. You could do that too. That definitely would save you time as well. Unfortunately, I do not have a quicker way for you to do hyperlinks. It's going to be a manual process no matter what. There is no way around it. So I think I've rambled on enough. I just have one last thing to show you. I know I mentioned, actually, let me mention this because I know I mentioned this in the tips and tricks video, but I'm thinking you may not have watched it. One of the reasons I add these frames is because if you add a hyperlink to something that is grouped with something else, that hyperlink's not going to work in GoodNotes. So adding a frame on top makes it easy to add the hyperlinks, delete hyperlinks, change hyperlinks, but also, and you can add them anywhere, but also ensures that you're not making the mistake of having them grouped together and then having it not work in GoodNotes. It'll work in the PDF if you export it, but it's not going to work in GoodNotes. Anyway, the last thing I wanted to show you is how you can check for broken links, broken hyperlinks, which is something that you're going to want to do before you export your document. Okay, you want to make sure you don't have any issues. So I have the hyperlinks tab down here. If you don't see that, you're going to come up to Windows and you're going to come down to interactive and you're going to come down to hyperlinks, and then you'll get this window here. And so this is showing basically all the hyperlinks in the system. You know what? I just wonder how many are in here. It doesn't tell you. There's a lot. But this little guy here, the little warning sign will indicate that something's wrong. If you click that, if there's anything that's wrong, it's going to show up top once you click that. Okay. Let me delete a page. Let me delete this page, and then it'll tell me I have an error because I'll have hyperlinks that are going to here, but there's no page. There we go. Okay, so once I double clicked on the little guy here, you can see I got a bunch of red flags telling me there's an issue. You have some broken hyperlinks because I deleted that page and there's hyperlinks that went to that page. So you want to redirect those hyperlinks to something else or fix them altogether. So all you need to do is double click on the page number. It's going to take you and automatically highlight the hyperlink that has the issue. So I don't know if you can see that, but it already has this highlighted telling me that's an issue. I need to fix that. So edit hyperlink, and I'll have to change the hyperlink, and then I can just, and then the red flag will go away, and I can just click the next one, and then the next one, and it will keep, because these all go to the weeks, it'll filter me through all of them to fix. So that's all you need to do. I suggest doing that right before you export to make sure you don't have anything funky. Other than that, if you just type the wrong number in, as long as there's a page that it can go to, you're not going to know. So take your time, do the hyperlinks correctly the first time, so you don't run into any of those issues. All right, that is all for today's video and all for hyperlinks that I could possibly give you. I know it seems overwhelming, and to be honest, it definitely can be. There's no really easy way to add these that I know of anyway. If any of you guys know an easier way to add these, please let me know. But it just is the nature of creating digital planners, especially ones with tons of hyperlinks in them, because it's just the name of the game. It's just a part of the process, and all you can do is suck it up and get through it. So in the next episode, we are creating our finished documents from our parent pages. So make sure you check that video out before you jump into those hyperlinks. But hopefully you have an idea of how you want things to flow so that it's super quick and easy to just add your pages in the next episode. I will also be showing how to export your documents in the next episode as well. So hit subscribe and the bell notification so you don't miss it, and I will see you next time.